In this video, I'm going to begin lesson 2. So we are going to cover what the staff is and how we can read notes on the guitar on the staff. We're going to start off looking at just the open strings, so not having to use our left hand at all. We are also going to learn some different kind of rhythms and how that works and how we can put them on the staff or read them from the staff and know when to play them. So the first thing I want to do before we begin to read the clef is talk about the musical alphabet. So the musical alphabet is A to G, and it just starts over. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. I'm going to demonstrate that on the guitar just so you can get an idea of how it sounds. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And so hopefully that you can connect it a little bit with the notes. It's not just completely abstract. So now let's talk about the staff. The staff has 5 lines, and in between those lines there are 4 spaces. So we are going to be playing from the treble clef, or also the G clef. And the clef is just a symbol that they put at the beginning of the staff, those 5 lines and 4 spaces, to let you know what each line and space is called. So for treble clef, from lowest to highest, the lines we have E, G, B, D, F, and the spaces are F, A, C, E from lowest to highest. If you look at example 4 on page 15, you'll see this demonstrated. You'll also see in example 3 what the treble clef or G clef looks like. So an acronym you can use for the lines from lowest to highest would be every guitar beginner does fine. Every E, guitar G, beginner B, does D, fine F. And then for the spaces, just remember how to spell face. F, A, C, E. And that will come in later. Helpful later. All right. So let's talk about rhythm now. In music, we divide time, and that's how we know where to put each note. So we have different ways of dividing it, and symbols we'll learn so we know how to do that. So what I want to talk about first is what a whole note is. So quite often in music, and especially in this book more often than not, we will be counting to 4. So we're going to be dividing it into four sections. So a whole note is worth 4 counts, or 4 divisions, 4 beats. So to play a whole note, you will play on 1, count 2, 3, and 4 evenly, and that will be how you play a whole note. So if you look at 15, at the bottom of it, a whole note is an empty circle with no line attached, just an empty circle. Now I'm going to count and play a whole note. So all you have to do is play on 1 and let it ring out for the rest of the counts. This is how it's played. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a whole note. 4 counts. A half note is going to be half of a whole note, which is 2. So it's going to be 2 counts. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I played on 1, let it ring out over 2. If we're counting to 4, it's good to know how the half note could fit in 4. So in this instance, if we have 2 together, we will play, of course, on 1, let it ring out over 2, and then we'll play over 3 and let it ring out over 4. I'm going to tap my legs so you're going to hear that they each last 2 beats long, even though I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's half note. You hear they each got 2 taps. 1 to begin on and then 1 for it to ring out over. A quarter note is going to be divided into fourths. So we are going to play every time we count. And the quarter note is like the half note, which if you look at the top of page 16, you'll see it has an empty circle, the half note does, with the line attached. That line is called a stem, like on a flower. And the quarter note is similar to a half note, except the circle is filled in. And it happens every count. So quarter note, it will be played like this if it's only quarter notes. 1, 2, 3. next note we have is a dotted half note, which is 3 counts. It's a half note with a dot to the right of the circle. So it's 3 counts. We'll play on 3 and let it ring out over 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The dot, if you just want to know what it does to a note, it adds half of what the note would normally be onto it. So a half note is 2 beats or 2 counts. Half of 2 is 1. So we add that 1 to the 2, and that's how we get 3. The final thing we will talk about for this video, and in the next one I'll go over drills 14 through 16, is the 8th note. The 8th note we aren't going to play till further on in the book, but I'd like to talk about it right now. An 8th note is going to have it on the beat, but also directly in between, because it's divided. It's only half of a quarter note. So to count that 8th note that happens in between each beat, we say the word and. So we'll go like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I tapped on my leg just so you get an idea where the beat is. You'll hear that I played on the beat and also directly in between. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you can even practice that now. It'll come in very handy when you get into a little bit more complicated strumming, but we'll do that later. All right, so this gets us from pages 14, 15, and 16 out of lesson 1. In the next video, I'll pick up on page 17, and we'll go over these rhythm drills 14, 15, and 16. So in these, we're just going to be combining the different rhythms we did, excluding the 8th note. All right, so I'll see you in that video.